what I do when I'm trying to deal with myself. And I wrote like a song, Canto pra você. That's a love song for myself.
All right.
And like,
what's it again?
Canto pra você.
Canto pra você.
Means I'm singing to you. Because I think there's something beautiful about singing to someone.
Mm-hmm.
Canto pra você, canto pra mostrar o meu amor. O sol vai te encontrar se deixar esse amor.
Greetings from Berlin to the world. Yes, it's another beautiful edition of our Bogolan Studio interview. Yes, with our special guest of honor here, Natalie Greffel.
Yes.
Welcome to the studio.
Thank you.
How are you doing?
Whew, I'm evolving, I would say.
Wow.
I'm definitely in between spaces, but I'm staying true to myself as much as I can.
Amazing.
Yes.
How true have you been this year? It's so wonderful, your album. Can I say congratulations?
You can definitely say congratulations.
Congratulations for
Thank
this
you.
beautiful Paratodos. Tell us about it. Like, what's it? What actually is it for you? What does it mean to you?
The album, what
Yeah.
it means to me. Well, that is, I would say, a beginning. I think it's also a declaration of committing myself as an artist to like everybody. As the album is called Paratodos, like for everybody. That's what it means in Portuguese. It's kind of like centering myself as an artist and saying I'm making music and I'm trying to connect with anyone who wants to engage with my music, engage with me as a person, and that's why it's called Paratodos.
Eu fui viajar lá para onde o sol não cai. Caminhos e destinos iam mais que...
What kind of music is it? Is it jazz? Is it jazz, hip hop? Tell me about it. I mean, it's so beautiful, though. I mean,
So I think. So this is my opinion,
Yeah.
and I think the reason why I humbly call it my opinion is because I don't want to say what it is, because I think I want to put my music out so people can have conversations about this.
Mm-hmm.
I think my music is definitely taken from Brazilian influences, because I wanted to go to Brazil and explore like my identity as a person who comes from Mozambique,
Mm-hmm.
who has through colonialism and slavery has my history taken out of that place and put somewhere else. So I wanted to see how that would look like if I, what would happen with me as a person who I think I am when I went there. So the music definitely is based on trying to understand and learn the rhythms and the history of particularly the Black people in Brazil, because that's, the slavery and the colonialism that happened in Mozambique and in Brazil. And then it's also just about living a little bit that music as much as I could,
Mm-hmm.
and then take it into myself and say, how are these experiences interacting with me as a person? So I've spent time also studying jazz, like I've spent time studying Brazilian music. I've spent time just studying different types of music, but in depth, I would say as much as I have been able to do is Brazilian music and jazz, music that comes out from the US, from the Black community. And from there, I was also just trying to engage with how I could create something that was authentic to me at the time when I wrote it. That was like... So I think to say that it's Brazilian music is no, it's not Brazilian music, because I think I'm not from Brazil. I don't create music that is Brazilian, as I am not that. It's also not jazz, I think, because I am also not seeing myself coming from a jazz tradition or culture. I don't create jazz. I don't create any kind of Brazilian music. So it's more about having an internal dialogue and external dialogue with seeing how I can inform my identity through the history that, lived through me and our ancestors, So I think that's kind of how I see it.
That's original. I would say that's original Natalie Greffel music, because it's combination of your experience, your heritage, the places you've been,
Right.
and when I listened to it, I was like, I told my producer before you came, I was like, I hear samba in it, and I hear jazz. kind of music? I'm going to ask her in the interview. So
Yeah.
thanks for explaining.
Yeah.
It totally makes sense now. You know, I mean.
Yeah, but
Oh.
but I also think that that's my experience. I think I encourage anyone to have
their own.
conversation about what music is. You know, who creates music, who creates quote unquote genres, who why do we call it what it is? You know, and I think it's important to like honor the history and the legacy that music has from a particular culture, a particular land, from particular people. You know.
True.
And honor that basically.
Word.
Yeah.
I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
So how many tracks is it on it? Is it 15?
It's a humbling 7 tracks only, but they're long.
7 is the symbol of God, they say.
Oh, I didn't know. Okay, good. I mean, I wasn't trying to aim for the higher, wait, not on that level, but like, but yeah, let's just say I was.
And tell me about your journey. Since when? How did you start music?
Oof, I mean, it's kind of like I think I stumbled into music, like
Alright.
as a person who was engaging with music. So I've always listened to music. I think most people have.
Definitely.
But my father, he won the lottery back when I was a kid, and then that was like when Titanic was like.
Oh, romantic.
Killing, you know, like
Yeah,
killing, like
those moments,
you know, in the cinema. And then he decided to buy my sister and I like these key pianos, little toy pianos. When you just like small ones.
Yeah.
And then I was like, this Titanic song like from Celine Dion was going on repeat, and then I just tried to learn that song even without knowing
The notes and the keys.
Yeah, no, nothing. And then coincidentally, my sister's friend was like taking piano lessons, but I come from like a working class community at the time, so her mom couldn't pay for like lessons unless they split them up, you know, 2 students. And then she was like, well, Natalie's been playing Titanic for like months now, and you know, maybe she wants to play piano. And then she asked, and I was like, yeah, let's do these piano lessons. And so I kind of just took piano lessons for like 12 years.
Wow.
You know,
Real
just,
profi you in
but
it.
not really. I was just like, yeah, I guess. And it was fun, but I never felt courageous enough to really commit myself to it. And that was after I moved to Berlin.
Okay.
And my whole past between that has just been like engaging with music on more meaningful ways. I went to music boarding school in Denmark. I like majored in Denmark in high school. You have different majors, and so that was like in music as well. And so there are always like music has always followed me, but to really like commit myself as an artist and be like, I want to express my higher beings through the art form of music was like, that was when I was studying musicology. I was a closet musician, right? And then I was like, okay, I'm actually committed to
doing it.
Yeah, so that took a long time.
It's been a quite interesting journey from what you're saying.
Yeah.
Amazing. I mean, coincidentally having a piano from a luxury money, it's like you won your luxury into music.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, I mean, it was not like people think that I come from a musical family. Like when they see me play, they're like, of course your parents were like, and I'm like, no, like my father is a machine technician, and my mom at the time was working like 2-3 jobs, you know, and none of them had anything to do with art. But today she's like a librarian. But that, like, you know, it's not like, and that also kind of proves the point that music isn't just for the artist who is like born into that. Music is for everyone who can find that calling, you know. So
I totally agree. And again, thanks for sharing that also. That's a story that I think can inspire a lot of people out there. Do you play other instruments aside from the keyboard?
Yeah, so I guess I can tell you what instruments I have engaged with. Like, so after piano, I started when I was 15 to play like guitar, because I was interested in playing bossa nova. So I got to this like acoustic guitar. Makes sense today, right?
Yeah.
And then after that I started playing bass, like very little, just very little, I had a bass at home and did a few things and then dropped it.
Okay.
And then I started the conservatory, and that's when my major in like my main instrument was singing. And then in the conservatory they offered me like a second instrument, and then I spent some really emotional time figuring out what instruments meant for me, and that's when I dedicated myself to bass for real.
Okay.
So now I play electronic bass and I play upright bass as well, double bass.
Classic.
And a bit of percussion, you know, just like I fuck around with any kind of instrument. If you can give me something, I can make noise.
Hey, she's amazing. You need to check her out, man. Natalie Greffel. Tell me, what else can't you do? You sing, you play keyboard, bass.
Yeah, I mean, I don't.
You dance as well. I see your moves. I see your moves. You got it.
That's like a humble. That's a very humble. Like
and by your performance, I must say they are like special.
Thank
you know, are you an actor or you're just an artist? Do you like performing more on stage or do you like recording your songs in the studio? Which one do you enjoy most?
Well, honestly, like I think I love like sitting with music and then writing it out. And I think these are two very different things. When I then perform, I mean, I find that to be somewhat a bit stressful because as a band leader, you have to organize things and get the band together. I have to make sure that my band is okay. So that is a bit of extra stress. But then when I perform, it's a very serious thing to me. It's a very personal, but also very global thing to me to like really like spend time like connecting with my audience and like. So before I go on stage, most of the time, I do definitely take a moment to like understand why I'm doing what I'm doing. I thank, you know, my ancestors, very important, because as my mother told me to do, you know, and I make sure that I try my best to connect with the audience because that's what I want to do as a human being. I want to connect. I want to have conversations, and now I have a privilege to do it, to do it and express what I feel, which is a gift, you know. And so that's why that's very separate from then sitting and writing music, because that's a way of meditating and like dealing with all my my fears, my joys, my anxieties.
Everything.
Yeah,
your angels and your demons.
Yeah, oof. Yeah, like it's a very heartbreaking sometimes process. It's very painful sometimes, you know.
I feel you.
Yeah.
If I would say anything from your music, from the little that I have, you know, soak, I feel that you put your energy in there, you know, like if it's joy, it's full there, it's in there, it's intense. If it's some kind of sorrow, it's intense, you know, everything is really intense. And I wonder, how long does it take to create such an album? Like, because I don't know, from artist to artist it varies, but such an intense work, you know.
I think writing the music is the shorter process. I think thinking and like really like being honest and like understanding where you are now as a person, that's what takes a lot of time. Writing this album in particular was my first debut solo album, so I didn't even know when I was writing these songs that I was writing an album, so that's why it took a long time. I started my journey like practically speaking in Berlin, like in Brazil, 2016, when I was just, you know, learning about the culture and learning about myself. And then I wrote some songs to like internalize my experience, and these were some of the songs. And then I came back and started winning prizes with this music, and then I was like, okay, I should record an album. So that album was actually recorded in 2018. Then the process of releasing took another 1.5 years. So that's when we're in 2020. But if you talk about just the creative part, then it's 2 years. Okay. But it was not 2 years of like every day, you know? Yeah. It's just like
sometimes. And when you feel it. And does your music have some lyrics, like, you know, what you're talking about now, talking about your beliefs and stuff like that?
So I think the time that I wrote my lyrics, I was really trying to be like, what is happening in my life right now?
In the moment.
Yeah, and that was a moment of learning self-love. That was a moment of grief, I would say, like of my past behaviors and my past like ways of dealing with things. So yeah, I was mostly just talking about like being sad. Like not being sad, but like what I do when I'm trying to deal with myself. And I wrote like a song, you know, Canto Pra Você. That's a love song for myself. Alright. And like,
what's it again?
Canto Pra Você.
Canto Pra Você
means I'm singing to you, because I think there's something beautiful about singing to someone. out of a place of healing. And I think it's a very intimate thing to do.
Word.
And so I wanted to write a love song to myself, and just like kind of like wishing myself the best and hope and love, and you know, so that's kind of like
things.
yeah. So that was just kind of like trying to find words for all these things I was feeling at the time. But I mean, and just kind of like, it's kind of like a journal, I would say. And that's also why I also really accurately want to say, like, you know, that this is not Brazilian music, because my lyrics do not center themselves in Brazil. I'm not saying anyone who is Brazilian should write about Brazil, you know.
Yeah, I understand.
But it's like where you situated and where you're writing from. It's like this had nothing to do with any kind of like assimilation to or like appropriation towards like wanting to talk about Brazil. It was about me, my culture, my identity, and that doesn't engage with the 6 months I spent in Brazil, you know.
Understand. So the lyrics are directly your emotions, your experiences and stuff like that. Perfect.
Yeah.
Do you like it here in Berlin?
It's all right. I would say I think Berlin has a lot of potential. I think Berlin has.
It's the next big thing, right?
I feel I don't know. I feel like there's so many different spaces you can be in, and I think that's really wonderful.
Yeah.
I think though Berlin has a lot of things that need to be occupied even more. Like we talked about prior, you know, like Berlin needs to realize the potential of some certain groups of people that are already in Berlin, you know. And
very important. That's why we're here.
Yeah, and that's why we're here, basically,
that's
right?
why we're here, right?
So I see what you're doing in this project, and I feel like you're creating a space that needs to be in Berlin. So if I like Berlin, I would say I am hopeful for Berlin to expand and advance. I don't feel like completely wrapped in this, because of that, you know. Like I definitely feel like there are other places I feel like there was more things happening, and actually maybe this is like a harsh critique, but I heard this from a guy I was talking to last week, and he said something I thought was interesting. He said Berlin has education but no culture. They have institutes and education, they have the opportunity, but the culture is coming from outside in. Yeah,
we've been so much excited in this studio right now, and we would like to take a break. But before the break, we want you to check up Natalie Greffel on YouTube. You know, check her music, subscribe to her channel, and don't do that before subscribing to this one. And then, we will catch you again soon with the next special edition. Someone special again will be here, you know. And we'll say thank you for coming, Natalie. If there is one thing you would like to tell the public or the people or share with us, please do. Anything, any inspirational message, any quote, anything you cherish, you know. Yes. Just say it, and we'll keep it. Okay, so like, listen, everybody is a creative human being. Like you have, like, I feel like being a creative person does not mean that you have to subscribe to calling yourself an artist. You don't have to call yourself a painter or anything. Creativity is something that we do because we imagine, we envision, we fantasize about new things. So I personally believe that it's important to center yourself in your creativeness, your creative being, in order to like transcend. So if that just means like taking a recipe and creating new kinds of food and trying new things, or like getting out of bed and do something different that day, that is a creative act. And I think that is a way of connecting with yourself and being open to other people. So I really wish that anyone who feels like they are not able to be a creative being, or they're too scared, I wish them to do it and try it out, fail, and then do it again, and then feel comfortable with centering themselves and calling themselves a creative person. That's how I got where I got. That's a word. You know, I'm going to keep this for myself. If you don't want to keep it, it's up to you, because I'm a creator. You're a creator too, but you need to know. We'll catch you next time on the Bogolan Studio. Blessed love. Eu vou viajar lá para onde o sol não cai.